Hi, chapter 1. I want to talk about the words that Jesus said in Matthew chapter 11, verse 15. He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. There's many people that do not want to hear. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I just want to believe in something that is not true. I was accused that I'm making up stuff, and I'm defending myself. What I'm saying is true. I lived it. I experienced. I have witnesses that can confirm what I said. I'm willing to take a lie detector, whatever it takes. But I'm telling you the truth. What happened to me, why I'm not in this Church of God Restoration, is because I did a questionnaire in the beginning, which caused me on downward spiral away from them. The questionnaire was biblical, was scriptural. The first question I did, true or false? The most important decision a person can make in their life is to accept Jesus Christ as their Savior. True. Number 2, as soon as they accept Jesus Christ as their Savior, they're also a Christian. True. Number 3, when they accept Jesus Christ and they become a Christian, they also are a brother or sister. Yes, but they would not call too many people outside their group brothers or sisters if they don't follow their system. If they don't join the Church of God Restoration, they might say it for a little bit, but then they would, no, they're no longer brother or sister. Then I had the 4th question, which just irritated them so much. Pat O'Shea. Anyway, the 4th question was, as soon as they accept Jesus Christ as their Savior, they become a brother and sister, they are a Christian, and they are joined to God's church. They are part of the church of God that Jesus built. No, they did not accept that. And from that time on, I was considered a free thinker. The questionnaire went out in the kingdom and so forth. But they did not like me then. I was a free thinker. They had to shut me down. There were times, several times, before the final episode that he said, she needs to leave you. And many times she went to his house, Pat O'Shea's house, until I talked and talked and talked, and then finally they accepted it. So what were some of the other reasons? What about the last one? I'll let you know on chapter 2. Chapter 2. So what was the final breaking point? The final breaking point was when my mom died in 2002. That's 24 years ago. Okay, what happened? This is the truth. My mom died in 2002, went to the funeral in March. That was January. In March, just 2 months later, it was Easter Sunday coming up. And Dad wanted to have the family get together. The siblings, my siblings, get together. He wanted all of them there, just in memory of Mom. I felt compelled to go. He called me up. Could you please come? I just miss Mom so much, and so forth. I felt compelled to go. But I told my wife about it, and she said, no, we just were there. I says, I know, for the funeral. This is for a get-together in memory. No, we don't have pastor's permission. I thought, well, we discussed it a little bit. I says, okay, fine. I got to leave 2 hours to go to finish off a project here in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and then I want to travel to Minnesota with a different answer. I hugged and kissed her and did not realize that's the last time I'd ever hug and kiss her. And I came home 2 hours later. She was gone. She moved in with Pat O'Shea. He had 2 wives in his house then. And so the family broke up, and that was the reason it all departed. There were a lot of different things. The day of the divorce, I didn't realize my attorney was absolutely worthless. He sold me out. He gave me all the debt. She got made up debts, and but I remember the day when the divorce. I pulled in front of the house. I looked behind me. Oh, here's Pat O'Shea and Sue O'Shea and my ex-wife now. She has to come and get her stuff. And I remember her pulling out drawers, dumping on the floor, taking out 2 items, take in the next drawer, dump it on the floor. She made a mess. She might deny that, but that was one situation there. So left a mess. Those are true stories. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about a third story. There was a house that we lived in. You come into the porch, and right there, Tiffany. Okay, what happened? I had child placement. Let me continue on the third one. Okay, third chapter. I had placement one time a month, I believe it was, or every 2 weeks or something like that. And I wanted to go up to Oshkosh, take the children there, but it was forbidden. And so she made a big stink. No, you're not picking up the children unless I can come and get some stuff out of the house. And so, get some stuff out of the house. What do you want? I'll get it for you. Nope, I'm going to get it myself. I don't know what's all there, but I need to get some stuff. Well, okay. That's the only way I get the children. Let her come. But she says, I can bring a friend. Okay, friend. Well, who? You don't know her. Well, you can't bring Sue O'Shea. No, it's not her, and you don't know her. Okay. Here she comes to the door, porch door, come into the house. She said, can the boys stay outside? No, they live here. Well, can Tiffany come in the house? Only in the entryway. That's the only way I could get the children the next day. And so Tiffany was in the entryway. Then diagonally across is the bathroom, goes in there, and the living room is straight ahead. I was right on the edge of the living room. My ex-wife, was in front of me in the living room. I was still in the kitchen. My 2 boys were by the bathroom. And my boys caught it. They saw the wink of between Tiffany and my ex. I didn't catch that. What I did not know is that they were going to frame me. She pulls out the camera. She's going to take a picture of the dirtiest mess, the cockroaches in the house, or something pathetic of some sort, and she's going to frame me and take it back to the health department. I says, no camera. Oh, yeah, I can take camera. I reached for the camera. She expected that. She dropped her hand down to the ground by her knees and back up, and she started screaming, I can take pictures. I can take pictures. I can take whatever. This is my house doing this and that. Oh, she was just screaming. Instantly, Tiffany behind me screamed, get your hands off of her. I turned around, and she had the phone in her hand. She already had dialed 911. They were there to set me up. I thought, oh no, I can't touch her. Randy, my son, can you grab the camera? Because they did not want to go back to the cult. They were out of the cult mentally before me. And so she jumped in, tried getting the camera. He got the first camera out of her hands. I never touched her. Randy had grabbed her hand to get the camera. She pulled out a second camera out of her purse. Randy had to do it again. That is a true story. I'm going to say the next thing on part 4. Chapter 4. Chapter 4 is this. He grabbed the cameras out of the hand. I did not know until I got to court. I says, I'm innocent. I didn't touch her. I didn't take her camera. Nope. The bailiff or whoever was in charge says, you going to plead innocent? Did you know that all 911 phone calls are recorded? And if they're recorded, if they're screaming in the background, you are automatically guilty. I says, well, there is screaming in the background. She was yelling, screaming, and holding up the hand, up and down, screaming. I just stepped back and I thought, what is going on? I was married to this woman for 16 years and now she acts like that? Then I said, okay, get out of the house. Get out of the house. We walked out of the house. They were satisfied. They were pretty smug. They went down about 50 feet from me. And, you hurt my wrist, you hurt my wrist. Oh. Made up a story that I grabbed her wrist. I never touched her. I reached for the camera, but couldn't get it because she was waiting for that. I stood there by the vehicle. Oh, you can't leave. You can't. No, cops are coming. Well, yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. Cops came. They came to me. Says, what seems to be the problem? I explained the situation. He says, well, you wait right here. He walked back to the women, and he hurt my wrist. Randy grabbed her wrist to grab the camera. That was it. I didn't grab her wrist. That was a lie. That's a lie. That's a deliberate lie. Their defense is, well, you told Randy to do it, so therefore you did it. No, in the court reports still today, in the sheriff reports, she's the one that lied. I did not grab her wrist. Randy might have grabbed her wrist, but she exaggerated the situation for the camera, so that was a lie. And I'm willing to testify on that. She has hated me 24 years because I wouldn't go along with her situation. They pushed so much evil on me. They filled up the courtroom with cult members to intimidate me one time. I turned around and there was all black and white outfits there. 20 people maybe. They held a camp meeting just on the same day that the court hearing was, just so that they could do it for intimidation. I was there basically by myself. So, no, it was an evil, evil place. I'm glad I'm out of it. Thank you. I'm going to continue just a little bit longer. Number 5. So what really irritated me? Irritated me that it is false. It is because of the blasphemous statements that are. Ray is the perfect human being. Was preached out of the pulpit. That is false. There's no man perfect. No, not one. I owe my life, I owe my soul, I owe my salvation to one man, Ray Tinsman. How long did he hang on the cross? That's blasphemous. That is not a lie. A lie is one thing. That's bad. But blasphemous statement like that? One woman to preach. If God doesn't answer the prayer, he's a liar. You call God a liar? That's evil. That is right down evil. Better than any man. Ray Tinsman is better than any man. Better than Moses and the part of the Red Sea. Better than Peter, John, Paul, and Moses, a part of the Red Sea. Ray never did a single miracle. I don't hate the man. I don't hate Pat O'Shea either. I don't hate my wife. I wish she would get saved. I wish she would correct the mistakes that she did. The lies that she said to the sheriff department. Those were lies. That I grabbed her wrist. I want her to be saved. I don't want her to be lost. And that's the reason I'm making these videos. He that hath ears, let him hear. It has to come for, the full circle now. It's been 24 years. I cannot be in her presence. She will not be there. I am not supposed to be there in the same presence. She hates my guts. I wish we had a friendly situation. I've wanted it for 24 years. I don't have to be her friend. I don't want to be her friend, but I want to be friendly. I want to be cordial. I want to be civilized and be able to talk, hey, how's it going? Huh? How do you like your job? Whatever, And you need a right to town? I'll give you a right to town. I don't have to love her in one sense, but I have to love her the way Christ loved somebody else. And that's the reason I'm making this video. So, okay, what else is there? Every man will bow to Ray Tinsman. That's blasphemous. Every man shall bow to Jesus Christ, not to a man. Ray Tinsman. If you want to be going to heaven, you got to be measured up to Ray Tinsman. One person says, let me, it's getting close to the end here, so I got to put this on the 6th one. Okay, number 6, chapter 6. Patrick Jr., Pat O'Shea's son, preached a message. He said, the problem with churches is they preach Christianity. We are not Christianity. We are Lane-nites. Danny Lane, that was a liar. He was a liar as far as he made that little pamphlet, says that he chopped his arm off almost. It was just a dangling. And no scars. I've never seen any scars. And he had perfectly dexterity. He could thumb through his Bible and he became a preacher and stuff like that. I don't believe anyhow. I have a different video out that explains all of that, of why I believe that he was a liar. He lifted me out, was his little pamphlet, and I think he was a liar in that book. And so look up the different video. But so they admit they are not Christianity. Christianity is Christ-like. Christ-like, they don't follow Christ. They follow a man named Danny Lane. Just agree with us and you will be sealed. Just agree with you? What if you're wrong? Now the church is starting to fall apart. The Church of God Restoration is falling apart. And all of a sudden now it's wrong, but you're supposed to have agreed with them that he was the best man that ever lived. And then crazy things. He could time travel back. What a crazy thought. Back to John the Revelator and told him what to write in Revelation. And he was a sixth angel. Well, if he's a sixth angel or seventh angel or what, 10th angel, I don't care what it is. It is all a foul, made up thing of revelation, concocted stuff that it just doesn't make sense. It's false, especially if they start falling and crumbling and nobody. They stole a bunch of money. There's a couple $1 million that's missing, that there's no records of it. They flew first class across the world in different places, always in best motels and bought land and so forth. And the world is crumbling. I mean, that church is crumbling underneath them. And then one thing that I just couldn't understand, I wish I would have seen that way in the beginning when I first got started. If I would have seen one person walk in, one of their 3 top guys walk in with a wizard suit on, I would have fled. Anyone that believes is a wizard is abomination to God. And he took it on. He says, I'll cast a spell on you, on the congregation, in a wizard suit. That is so blasphemous, so contradictory, such an abomination to God. And therefore, I got pushed out. I got pushed out because the different things that happened. But the thing that I wanted to, the reason that I made this video, 6 clips here, is because the reason why my mom died and they left me, the cult ripped my family apart, because I wanted to be with my family. So thank you. There, number 7. I just listened to my video and I forgot a few things. Number 1, when I got where I was framed with being able to grab her hand, wrist, oh, he hurt my wrist. I got put in a squad car, handcuffed, put in a squad car, hauled off to jail. I was there for several hours in jail, first time I ever was in jail. And before I got hauled away, do you have $150 you could bail yourself out? I told my oldest son, go up upstairs underneath the carpet. I had a couple $100. Well, the jail kept $150 for bail money. I never did get that back. And the other $50, I had to wait about a week before they sent a check back. Not cash. I gave cash, but they had a check. And so I spent several hours in jail waiting for my turn to be bailed out of my own account because of Shreen's lies that I grabbed her wrists. And that's still in the records today. So now, let me tell you another story. When I wanted to go up north, I always had to fight against Pat O'Shea. My wife would tell him automatically, hey, Bernie's planning on going up north again. And he'd come over and he'd ridicule the children and so forth. So I could not tell a lot of information to her. And that was a time when she asked, when are you going to have supper? I said, no, I like to take the 4 children or 5 children, whatever it was at the time, and I'd like to clean up some stuff. I need to have them help me with some work. And so I took them out of the house. I didn't tell her the work was in Minnesota. And I took off. Because if I told her, Pat O'Shea would have been there right now, stopping it. So instead, I left for Minnesota, called my wife back. Don't worry about supper. I'll take care of that. Where are you? I'm on the other side of Milwaukee, Madison already. Where are you going? Minnesota. Oh, she was mad. And when I got back, Pat O'Shea, oh, if I would have known he was that upset and he was going to pull my children apart and put them into tears and then get me in the office, and you think you will get the children, you will not get the children. Shreen's going to get the children. You know it's a woman's state. You know it's a woman's state. You will lose everything. You will be destroyed. You will die a miserable death. You will be in hell. Is that what you want? You know, and I mean, he was just spitting on me. And so then that was not the end of it. Then he had still another, I better quit right there. Let's go number 8. Number 8. And so you're going to think, so that was not the end of the ridicule there. So the next Sunday service or a Sunday service after that, he preached a message. And for some reason, I think he preached it against me. He says, if somebody asks you a question, like my pastor, and you give a response, but you don't really answer the question of what he's asking for, you are deceptive. And if you're deceptive, you're lying. And if you're lying, you're a liar. And if you're a liar, you're going to go to hell. And so he preached that message. And now let me tell you about a different situation. When I moved down to Kenosha, I was allowed to be in James DeGraffenried's Reed's house. He had a nice sized house, 2 stories, plus a basement. And upstairs, I think there were 4 bedrooms. And my boys got 1 bedroom upstairs. My girls got another bedroom, and we had 1 bedroom. And his son was in a 4th bedroom, I believe. James was downstairs, and there was a man named Ralph Sells in the other bedroom downstairs with the kitchen and, living room and so forth, bathroom down there. And so anyway, we were up north. My family was up north, and the couch was pulled a little away from the window, from the wall. So there was walking distance behind it. And Ralph Sells they figured out he must have gone behind the couch to lift the window or whatever, but that's where they found him, laying on the floor when one of the men came home. Either James or John came home. And so they put him in bed. When we came back from up north, there he was. And the thing that I remember most for 2 full weeks, Ralph Sells, water, water, water. He was dying of thirst. All he needed was an IV, but that's medicine and doctors. And we do not believe in medicine and doctors. And so they give him 1 spoonful of water. He'd drink it. Give him a second, water. Give him a second spoonful, and he'd throw it up. He needed an IV, but they wouldn't give that to him. So that's just about 3 minutes here. I got to quit right here. Number 9. So he needed water. In about 2 weeks, we were upstairs. I don't know if it was midnight, 1 or 2 in the morning. He got a knock on our door, bedroom door. Ralph Sells just passed away. My wife and I got dressed. We went downstairs. There he was in his bedroom. The bedroom door open. He was covered up, everything, and he was dead. Pat O'Shea was right there. Sue O'Shea was there. Pat O'Shea called Danny Lane. Danny Lane, praise the Lord. Yes, amen. Ralph Sells just passed away. What do we do? Well, Danny Lane says, is the body warm? Yeah. Pat O'Shea touched the forehead. Yeah, it's still warm. No, you got to let the body cool down. Because if you don't let the body cool down, they're going to do a bunch of CPR, a bunch of intervention, trying to defibrillator, whatever like that. And we don't believe in that kind of medicine, that kind of doctors. We don't want that. And so they just allowed him. What? This is crazy. I was right there. I'm telling you the truth. Then says you got to let the body cool down. So hung up the phone, and we sat there for an hour, about 1 hour. And I'll never forget, as you're facing the bed, Pat O'Shea was on the right side of the bed, sitting in the chair. His right hand was on the forehead of Ralph Sells. His left hand was on the phone. Called Danny Lane. Danny Lane, he's cooled down. Okay, now you're going to call. Wait a minute. Is Bernie's children still in the house? Yeah. Get them out of the house. Get them over to your place. Pat O'Shea lived next door to James DeGraffenried's house. My boys, my children, all of them were carried across. We do not need extra attention, extra obstacles in the way for them to question this and that. We don't need that. Remove all the different things that would cause speculation. And so my children got pulled over there. And so anyway, now you can call 911. Call 911, not the morgue or just an off-duty cop or whatever like that. You got to call 911. Hurry, hurry, this is an emergency. You got to Act like it's an emergency, else you're going to get in a lot of legal situations. So I'm going to quit it right there. Now, let's take number 10. So you're going to get in legal issues. You got to call 911. So Pat O'Shea called 911. And within minutes, the street in front of our house was filled with red and blue lights, flashing, fire trucks, ambulances. Even the mortician was there. Cop cars. I mean, the street filled up, the house filled up. I think there were at least 10 people. 10 uniformed people of a certain... And they rushed in the bedroom, and lights were flashing, flickering from the cameras and stuff, flash bulbs. I mean, it was a fireworks going on outside with all the red and blue lights, and fireworks there with all the flashing of the cameras. And then the lead detective comes out. And I remember a three-way thing. A little bit to my left was Pat O'Shea. A little bit to my right was this lead cop. It was a triangle. I remember that as if it happened yesterday. And the cop says, "It appears that the body has been dead for a little while." What happened? Why didn't you call 911 sooner? So here's Pat O'Shea that just preached a message to me against me. That if they're telling you a question, answer the question, else you're deceptive. If you're deceptive, you're lying. If you're lying, you're a liar. If you're a liar, you go to hell. And now I watched it, witnessed exactly how he operated. Pat O'Shea says, "Well, Brother Sells was such a nice brother to us, and he, about 2 weeks ago, he was behind, we found him behind the couch. He dropped down behind the couch, and we put him in bed, and we took care of him, and anyway, every day, and he made a long story of how it all happened, and how he took a breath, and then he exhaled real long, real laboring this night, and then he took a breath, and I thought that would be end, but then he'd exhale, and then all of a sudden he finally got it all done, and then all of a sudden he quit breathing, and I thought, is this the end? And so I called the congregation to kind of figuring out what we're going to do. And a little time must have gone by. The truth is, we waited an hour deliberately. That was the truth, because we don't want any intervention. But instead, he had to lie. So let's quit it at that. Let's finish this up. 11. Whoops, it's this way. 11. So here he lied, deliberately lied against his own rules of deception, because he did not answer the question according to what the cop was asking. He drew it out for 2-3 minutes of telling all the different things of every whim and motion. The truth is he lied. The truth is that we waited an hour deliberately. Why did the body cool down? Why did it seem like it was dead? Because we waited an hour. That was the real truth. And I brought that up, and they hated me for that. They had to get rid of me. So when Shireen finally, lied about me and broke it up because I wanted to go to my mom, dad, mom's memory for dad, that's when they left me. But they chose the wrong thing because I wanted to be with my family. But the reason that it all developed the way it did and how she left me, they were just looking for one more excuse, and that was the next excuse. Because I was a free thinker, pointing them out where they were in wrong, where they were in error, where he lied to the cops. She lied to the cops saying that I grabbed her wrists. It's permeated with lies. The restoration was permeated with lies. And I filled it in, number 5, 6? I filled in what the lies were said about Ray. And no, the Church of God Restoration is filled full of lies. There are some good people in there yet that I love, that I know of, maybe I have not met, and I have the highest regard for those people, but they better get rid of the restoration part, because the restoration depicts them as being part of this lie, this foundation of lies. It has a foundation built on lies. And my ex did it. Pat O'Shea did it. There were many things that were crooked. So thank you for listening. There might be another with video sometime. But right now, I had to get that off my chest because somebody said that I had wrong information, that I was just trying to cause trouble. All I want to do is tell you the truth of what happened. This is truth. I don't mind taking a lie detector on this. I can be before God. Before God. I mean, it would be blasphemy to say, may God strike me dead. But I have no problem with that. Because I am not blaspheming this whole situation. God could. I am telling you the truth before God. Thank you.